Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Two Birds with One Game. My name's Adam.
I'm Sophia.
And today was the promised day, the day that the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened this morning.
Silksong is real!
And it was pretty good.
That's crazy.
I really enjoyed it. I mean,
time.
the Switch 2 should have come out like literally a year ago, in my opinion. I know there was supply chain stuff. I know COVID pushed everything back, and there was some general weirdness. But for what we got today, I think it really delivered. So I think today would be a really cool opportunity to kind of go over the Direct in general and talk about our thoughts on it and how we feel, things we're excited about, things that we were disappointed at.
What the hell is even that?
There are some topics we won't talk about, so I'll say from the get-go. We're going to be talking about the information that was presented in the Direct. So anything about, you know, some potential...
Oh, Tamagotchi Live!
Oh yeah, sorry.
Did you want to talk?
Some things kind of like, you know, the pricing of certain games and the controversies around that and the pricing of the console. We're not going to really talk about that much just because it wasn't in the Direct. We just want to go about the things that we actually saw footage of. So we're going to do that.
Really?
Alright, so first in the docket, let's talk about the technical difficulties that arose with the Direct first, because those were apparent. So you watched it later, right?
So I was working, and I was doing some stuff where I could have it on in the background. I got to the point where I was like, sometimes there's a delay with my headphones, and I was like, oh, it's kind of more of a delay than usual, and then the screen froze at one point, and I was like, hey, whatever. So I didn't watch most of it until, like, I watched it in chunks. I wasn't there for it live the whole time, essentially.
Well, I was there live the whole time, and pretty much right when a certain part of the Direct happened, I could tell, like, everything froze for a second, and the audio got way off.
Still ahead of all of you guys.
Uh-oh. Got a little lag.
This was on YouTube only, I think, so I think if you're watching on Twitch, you actually didn't really get this problem. But for literally, like, the entire Direct, the audio was off, up until, like, maybe the last, like, 10-15 minutes. Really obvious. That, and we'll get to it later, but there was a part where the whole screen just froze and the audio kept going.
So that's what I thought was going on.
Yeah,
I thought my phone was just being weird, and I was like, whatever, I got work to turn it off, went to work.
It was pretty obvious when it happened, but, I mean, there were, like, a bunch of people watching, so I'll cut it some slack, whatever. Let's just start at the top of it. Mario Kart World. Wow. I really thought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was close to the pinnacle you could get with the Mario Kart, I guess, ideas and formula. I've been proven wrong, and I'm really happy to be proven wrong. I mean, open world Mario Kart, you got different costumes, tons of different characters. The fucking cow is a playable character.
Moo Meadows count!
What's that? You can play as a cow! You can play as the goddamn cow!
I mean, really crazy, and like, you know, when you're watching it on your phone, you're like, this looks really cool. But me and Sophia, before this, watched it on our 4K TV downstairs. You're like, wow, this looks great. It just looks really good.
Crisp.
The redesigns for some of the characters, like the rescaling of Mario and Donkey Kong, Luigi, Peach, and everyone else, like, it's so cool. Really excited for that.
I really like the races that go between different stages, and you
Yeah!
drive between
Like, that's part of it.
The different levels in the pre or whatever you're doing.
That was really cool. Get off the counter, dickhead! Looks like Nintendo finally stepped into the year 2006, introducing things like game chat and cameras. Listen, I know it's a meme to pick on Nintendo.
The iToy.
Yeah.
The iToy's so back. I've got one in the closet right over there.
We're gonna get to that, but like, I know it's a meme to pick on Nintendo for not doing things that are really obvious that the rest of the industry is doing. So on the real, it's good that they're doing these things. It's good the console has a built-in microphone. It's good there's a camera attachment for it. It's good that there's screen sharing. Because to be totally real, you know, the Xbox and the PS4/5 didn't inherently have a screen sharing mode on that scale that they displayed. So I can give it up on that. I'll also say that I feel very confident that Xbox and PS5 wouldn't have had a screen sharing mode if the screen sharing was that laggy. I mean, God, look at the footage we're showing right now. I get it that there's 5 displays on screen, so they can't all be running at, you know, even 30 FPS. But when you zoom in on a single one, like, come on, you gotta show it better than that.
Yeah.
And with Nintendo's, like, notorious internet stuff, like, what is that gonna look like? I have no idea.
I'm genuinely wondering if they're actually going to go and upgrade their servers or just the general internet connection, because I remember especially when Mario Party came out, and people would be in just these
It just wasn't it. It just wasn't
Mario Party games and just get kicked randomly.
Oh, are we disconnected?
It's a...
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
No! No!
It was a meme to be able to finish one online with 4 players.
Like Sophia alluded to before, like, welcome back iToy. Wow, this is like the Kinect all over again in a way.
Especially that one part where they're hitting the ball.
Yeah, the Bowser, like, TV thing. I mean, wow, that looks exactly like a Kinect game or like an iToy game. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think families will get a lot out of that.
And it seems like they're not focusing on it like the Kinect was.
No, it's an add-on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a true add-on, but, like, that's the thing where it's like, that's not for me. I'll probably never get any use out of that ever. It's cool they're doing it, but it'll be funny if this really, really succeeds in a way that some of the Kinect and iToy stuff didn't. It's certainly not VR, and it's certainly not like anything.
AR.
Yeah, it's not anything too crazy, but it's interesting. Capabilities of the console. So people are pretty disappointed that it's not an OLED screen, which I get. I'll also say
I
that.
didn't realize that.
So yeah, it's only LCD. Now it does have HDR, which is like brights get brighter, darks get darker.
I genuinely don't know the difference.
I've never owned an OLED display,
Same here.
so I don't really know the difference, but it would have been nice if they had it.
That
People
is
said they would have
kind
made
of-
the shit cost way too much.
Okay.
I will say that, so...
I was kind of assuming it was OLED.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about that, but I think the price point is a good, decent reason to not have it. LCD's fine as it is.
Yeah, I think it's okay. A lot of folks are going to disagree with that, but I'm like, whatever. Life will go on.
We're not graphics people.
Yeah.
Despite all
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Despite all the crap I give Pokemon, we're not really graphics
Oh, we'll get to
people.
that.
We'll get there though.
The resolution and frame rate. Wow.
120?
120 at 1080 on the docked mode and 120 on the 720p on handheld mode. If you guys
That's
aren't familiar with
crazy.
that, the Switch is inherently 720p. Like Switch 1 is 720p. So that resolution with that frame rate is crazy
It's gonna
to think
be
about.
crisp.
The magnetic Joy-Cons are a nice touch too. I know that people had a lot of issues
I like
with
the magnetic Joy-Cons.
the sliding things got bent before. I think this is going to be a good compromise.
Absolutely, because after a while, like, just the Joy-Cons themselves, I feel like my sliding function, like, wore down over
Mm-hmm.
time. I don't know if that ever happened to you or anyone out there, but I would, like, lift the controller up sometimes on accident, and I'm nice to my gaming consoles. I like magnets. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're cool, and I like that they click in from the side, so when you're holding it, you know, like, the force isn't pulling it away from you. It's locked into place.
The next thing, we actually didn't talk about this off camera, and I recorded here. The storage woes. So here's the thing: the Switch 2 is going to have 256 gigabytes of storage, which is awesome.
a lot. That's
That is a
awesome.
good bit because the Switch 1 had 32 gig
Yep.
internally. Here's the kicker: those SD cards seem to be, in a way, proprietary.
Yep.
Which is really bad because you can't use the same Switch 1 SD card as you can on the Switch 2, or even any typical micro SD card.
You have to have the fancy micro SD card.
I gotta look into it more because I have not done my research. It's been not even 24 hours since the Direct came out. But I essentially learned that the proprietary SD card for 1 terabyte is $200
yeah.
for the micro SD.
That's a lot.
I don't know how big the Switch 2 games are gonna be memory-wise because, as we know, the Switch 1 games could fit on the console. More on that later. Sorry, on the cartridge. More on that later. So maybe if these games are that much better and greater in scale, they might be bigger, so 256 might not be enough to hold it. You might need, you know, at least a 512 or another 256 SD card to hold all that storage. To make your proprietary SD card a 1 terabyte size $200, I can buy 2 used Switch Lites for that cost.
Yeah.
Like, that is not great, and I'm curious to see what products they're going to introduce to alleviate that, if any, because if not, that's kind of a weird thing to do.
Yeah. So how are you gonna buy more games? You don't have enough storage.
Like, the thing that every console player complains about and then praises Nintendo for is, like, you have a fucking PS5 and it's the base 500 gig, congratulations, you're storing 7 games on there, tops. And one of them better not be a game that came out this year because it's going to be 100 gig. And the Switch, you know, you got it on the cartridges. The storage wasn't that big. And yeah, you could download games from the eShop and put them on there. But it wasn't really breaking the bank as far as storage goes. So we're going to need to see something a little better on that front, in my opinion.
Especially when we have big games like Elden Ring coming on.
Yeah, what the fuck is Elden Ring gonna look like? Oh my god, that's gotta be pretty big, right?
The Cyberpunk's definitely a big game. Oh yeah.
Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Who the fuck is gonna pay for that?
Paid. When we saw the trailer, we watched the whole thing totally separately.
We were not in the same room.
We thought the exact same thing, and that was Astrobot's Playroom.
Yeah, Astro's Playroom.
And that's it.
The best example of this, like, literally, I mean, Nintendo ripped this wholesale from Sony. Like, that's just a fact.
Like, the actual, you know, the game that is game demo, console demo, you get to walk around the physical console itself. That's exactly what you do in Astrobot. That is what this game appears to be. Except, Astrobot, not the new one, but, like, all of the
Astro's
Astrobot,
Playroom.
all of those have been free tech demos.
Yeah, like in Astro's Playroom, I mean, Astro's Playroom had, I mean, all the previous Sony consoles. It was a full platformer in a way. There were, like, items in different areas that defined around the console. It just, and all the old IPs, it was just better. Like, and I've not played Welcome Switch 2, whatever the fuck. Like, I haven't done that.
You're telling me, Nintendo is telling me that they're not going to tell me how the magnets work unless I buy a game.
Yeah, like I just can't.
What?
Who's gonna pay for that? I mean, you want to show off how cool your console is, and ideally you want to show the ins and outs and how hard you worked on it. That's what made Astro's.
And I want to see.
Yeah, that's what made Astro's Playroom so cool. Like,
but I'm not
you got to go into the CPU and the RAM and the GPU jungle and whatever. Like, that was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that. I would never have paid for that. I just wouldn't have. And there's also no, I mean, Astro's Playroom was and I'm, you know, this is all happenstance. Astro's Playroom was like a 5 or 6 hour experience. I just don't see any way that this Welcome Switch 2 is gonna be that long or have that much depth. I just don't. I do not agree with that. It's 1-2 Switch 3, because 1-2 Switch already came out. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get that.
In fact, when we were watching it separately, I thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, I'm having 1-2 Switch flashbacks. Let me just watch this whole thing through to see if it's free or not. And then right at the end, they go,
Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour will launch as a paid digital game on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2.
Paid.
Yeah, that's a real slap in the face. That game better be $1. That game better be $1.
If they have to tell you that you have to pay for it, then you've done something wrong. None of the other games said you get to buy this game. That's actually
a very good point.
They said, no, you have to buy this game to play it.
All right. We probably all saw this coming a little bit, but upgrades from the original Switch games to the new stuff. This is a thing that I saw coming, I think everyone did, and I really, really appreciate it. I mean, you get to take advantage of the Switch 2's new hardware. You think it'd be a win-win for everyone. But requiring monetary stuff for all these upgrades, I do not understand it. Now let me be
break
clear.
It down.
With things like Mario Party Jamboree and Jamboree TV, that is a warranted paid increase because you're taking the game and you're giving it DLC. That makes sense.
Same with Kirby.
Yeah, and it's implementing the camera, it's implementing, like, the microphone. I think that's fine. Do I think I'm ever going to play Mario Jamboree for that mode more than twice? Probably not. But that increase is very, very warranted. Same with Kirby. Like Sophia said, you're getting a whole new world to explore, new characters. Like, it's just DLC. That's okay. And then you get a frame rate boost as a plus.
Yeah.
And a resolution boost. Cool.
Zelda. When we haven't gotten Tears of the Kingdom DLC, sitting there, you get a GPS on your real physical phone.
Sophia said, like, they were grasping at straws to, like, okay, how can we make this worth it? We gotta find something. GPS for the Koroks, yay!
It felt like they were like, oh my gosh, we have to make something to actually warrant the price increase.
Yeah, and this is the rumor mill. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but they said, like, for games that don't have DLC, like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, you're gonna pay $10 for the. You're gonna have to pay $10 for the upgrade, and then games that do have DLC, you'll have to pay $20. Here's the thing. I know it didn't happen with every single game, but on PS5, there were games that came out in that little interim period that would be upgraded to the PS5 version, had that resolution and performance boost, and would not cost any money. I think Jedi Survivor is a great example of that. Sonic Frontiers, another example of that. Like, it just takes it and makes it better. I don't know how you can warrant paying $10 for a GPS on your phone for Korok Seeds.
For a game you've already played.
For an 8-year-old game, don't misconstrue me. That frame rate was great.
It looked
like,
nice.
That looked great. That was awesome. I'm not even, like, the biggest frame rates now, but I gotta admit, like, that just looks better for Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and we'll get to the other game here in a second.
But that's why you buy the console.
Yeah, like...
So you're telling me I have to pay $450 plus however much this is going to cost to play the same game I already owned on another console that I already bought?
And I guess, you know, I can already hear the argument as, well, you don't have to buy it, it's backwards compatible. But yeah, like, don't you want the benefits of that new console? I mean, literally, it's like, do you want the shirt off my back too, Nintendo? Like, come on, we're paying... Breath of the Wild is 8 years old, and we're getting an FPS boost?
It feels like it's breaking you on purpose.
It does, it really does.
Like, are they gonna limit... It feels like the technology is being limited on your side. Like,
and I'm not saying every game did this on PS5, because they didn't. But they made an attempt to, you know, take the PS4 games and give you an option to scale up, and I really appreciated that. I don't appreciate this. Like I said, the DLC is fine. Ugh. One thing I gotta bring up, and I think one thing that everyone noticed as a Nintendo enjoyer, listen, I am not one that's ever gonna defend Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, or even the new direction Pokemon's going with the art style and how the games are and whatever. But I gotta give it up. I gotta give it up. Pokemon ZA, when I saw that footage today, I was like, wow, this makes the game a lot more appealing. Now, has the art style changed? No. Has the gameplay changed? No. Am I gonna buy that game day one?
No, hell no!
But like, it looked so much better. That's what
we've been waiting for!
That's what we've been waiting for! Literally, like, it's shocking to me that they can do this on the new console. And not to sound bad, but like, wouldn't make this an exclusive on the Switch too? I mean, it's playable on Switch 1. I wouldn't say that. It's people will think it's fine enough.
I guess
I'm not one of those
they just
people.
announced it. They announced it a while ago. I don't remember when they announced it.
Like 6-7 months
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
Actually, more than that, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, definitely more than that.
So, like, yeah, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that, but also the Pokemon art style is not appealing to me, and the game doesn't look that great. It looks like a 3DS game that fucking smoothed over. Like, yeah, you did it.
I think the Pokemon look nice, which is the entire appeal of a Pokemon game.
This is another video topic. Good job,
Yeah,
Frame
I'm
Rate,
gonna-
Game Freak. You did a good thing.
You made it to a point, especially now, where the graphics are not noticeably bad.
True. A big thing that people, apparently leakers saw coming, but I didn't think was going to be real until I saw it and it was staring me in the face today. The Joy-Cons acting as mice. What a great idea.
Dude,
like,
so that was something that was almost like foreshadowed in the Switch 2 launch trailer.
what a great idea. I mean, now, barring the netcode, and that could be a conversation for the future when we actually know, Switch 2 might be the best, most efficient way to play RTSs and first-person shooters. Like, they even showed...
Splatoon's gonna go crazy.
Splatoon, Civilization, I mean, Metroid Prime, you might have seen it already. That's such a cool idea, and it just makes sense. Now, barring the fact that you need a desk or a table to sit at to get the best out of it, that's gonna be a setup situation on a case-by-case basis. But wow, like, that's a great idea. Good job. I have nothing else to say. That's awesome. No one has done that before from a console perspective, I don't think. You can't count the SNES mouse.
Think of the DS options.
Talk about the thing you were saying.
I'm telling you guys, freaking, we have a chance. Pokemon Ranger is gonna come back.
All the touchscreen stuff
We
now
have
becomes
a
an option.
chance. Oh my gosh, Okami-den.
Yeah, like split screen on a
Dude.
TV or even on your thing. You can play it with the mouse. That can be your stylus.
Dude, I'm...
Okay, so they showed a lot of third-party stuff. We're going to kind of do a little lightning round shootout. We're not going to stick around on these things too much, but we'll kind of just go through all the ones that we deem to be pseudo-important, so let's get to it. First up, Elden Ring. Literally how?
Elden Ring?
That's a PS5 game through and through, and, you know, they're going to scale it down, obviously, and I get that, but... I don't know how they're going to do it. If that was Switch 2 gameplay, we're in for a treat. And it better have been Switch 2 gameplay or that's massively misleading. Hades 2. Now, Hades 2 is a game that I assume can run on Switch 1, so I'm not super impressed. But hey, it's always cool to get new stuff. I love the Street Fighter franchise. I really do, but I certainly don't play it as much as I used to. So when I saw Capcom coming up on the screen, the first thing I thought of was this little dude right here, and I thought we were going to get Monster Hunter Wilds. We did not get Monster Hunter Wilds, unfortunately. We got Street Fighter 6. But if they showed Elden Ring, we can probably get Monster Hunter Wilds. But yeah, Street Fighter 6, I mean, hugely popular Capcom fighting game. It's awesome. It's going to come to the Switch with some weird motion controls, too.
Do you guys think we might even get a port of Monster Hunter World?
Bro can't
to
stay
the
on topic
Switch
and
2?
talk about Street Fighter
We're
6.
talking about Capcom.
New amiibo, though. It's been a minute since we've gotten new amiibo, so seeing seeing 3 new amiibo and 24, 25 new amiibo cards. Didn't think I'd see that
They're
today.
gonna use it still.
A new Demon Machina game. Now, I don't know much about the first one. I know that kind of flopped hard, but stylistically, I really liked the way that it looked. I never got to play it. Looks really cool. I'm excited for it. I might pick it up. I like big mechs. I like flying around. Shout out Xenoblade Chronicles X. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake. We knew the game was coming out already on other consoles. This is the first time we saw it revealed for the Switch 2.
Cool.
I'm excited about it. I love the Tony Hawk franchise. But one thing that no one's talking about, no one noticed the 1 second of the SpongeBob level. Wow, no one's talking about that? That's so cool. Like, sweet. Bravely Default Remastered. God, I love Bravely Default. I want to see how they're going to mix in some of the Street Pass functionality and some of the camera stuff into this new version.
I was gonna say that if you know Bravely Default, you know the camera thing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. I'm curious.
We're gonna rewind a little bit because I forgot about something when Sophia mentioned this. Speaking of things that we need on the Switch, to see all this great stuff displayed, and then see the fucking basic white theme as the background. I thought that would have been one of the first things they showed. Maybe we'll get that in the future. Maybe we'll get Street Pass. Maybe we'll get an eShop that doesn't suck balls. But until then, I'm disappointed in that. Next third-party game, Yakuza on the Switch 2. I don't know if any Yakuza has been on the Switch 1, but knowing those are inherently going to be on the console, and some of the much newer games, not like a Dragon yet, but we'll get there probably. That's really cool. I'm excited for that.
Sick.
I know Sophia was on this train for this next one. Man, everyone got fucking zucked with the Hyrule Warriors fake out. I mean, come on. You hear the word Zonai, you see those hieroglyphs, and you're like, oh my god, is there going to be a Zelda? No.
I knew it was gonna be Hyrule Warriors from the start.
Listen, I like
felt it
Hyrule
in my
Warriors.
soul.
I like Hyrule Warriors, and getting what is kind of a canon prequel
That's cool.
to Tears of the Kingdom, like, I think that's cool. I think putting that on your Direct can kind of play with the heartstrings a little bit, you know? I mean,
I feel like it should have been said tomorrow.
yeah, if they showed that
We're
at the
gonna get-
Treehouse tomorrow,
We're gonna get all the treehouse stuff later, and it's gonna be awesome.
I would have felt better about that, but maybe not the best timing. But it's cool that it exists. A lot of new characters from what I saw, like some folks I'd never seen in the actual Tears
Oh
of the
no,
Kingdom
they're
game.
introduced.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I'm beating the game.
He hadn't played it really.
Tears of the Kingdom is like, eh.
Ugh, why did we buy 2?
Because I was excited. One of the bigger things that probably should have happened literally, I don't know, 6 years ago. GameCube Virtual Console on the Switch 2. Now don't, listen, guys, don't sit here and tell me that the Switch 1 wasn't capable of this. I don't even want to hear it.
No,
but
I
I'm
don't
glad
believe
that we're
it.
getting it. Ripped Wind Waker HD remake, because we ain't getting that. If
Yeah.
this is on here, I don't think we're getting that for at least a while.
Yeah, I heard everyone's favorite 2D cel-shaded style game, and I was like, no way they're putting freaking Wind Waker on the Virtual Console. It's hilarious.
And they did
sure
it.
did.
If you want some real Wind Waker
Yeah.
HD, shout out to ourselves. Go watch our Wind Waker HD playthrough on our channel. It was great.
You
like
can
40
see
parts.
the Miiverse stamps in it.
You can, yeah.
The GameCube version don't got those.
We also got Soul Calibur 2, a version of the game that's been lost to time, now back with Link playable again, and then F-Zero. It'd be nice if we got an F-Zero new game. That's not F-Zero 99, but maybe this is putting us on the road to that. Really shocked that Double Dash and Melee were not the first things that they showed on this reveal.
I was only listening to the Soul Calibur part, and when they said Link joins the battle, I was like,
Melee!
I had a second where I was like, oh no.
But they didn't do it.
They didn't do it.
I have my own theories about Melee that I won't go into here, mainly that the fact that there are infinitely better ways to play Melee that are free if you know where to go looking for it.
But there are 2 specific games that they did show that will be on the Virtual Console.
What were they?
And I'm talking about Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and, of course, Pokemon Coliseum. What?
I mean,
That's awesome?
to not put any of the Game Boy Advance games for Pokemon on the Game Boy Advance Virtual Console is certainly a choice. And because of that choice, I thought, like you probably did, they weren't going to put that on there. That being said, I'm very glad they did, because if you guys look online, you can see the prices for those games loose are like over $100. So,
Like, I'm so glad we have them, but I'm also a little confused. Like, it seems like sacrilege to have a Game Boy Virtual Console and not have the Game Boy game on it.
good on Nintendo for including that. And now that I say this out loud, it might be Game Freak that's holding the GBA games back, because was XD Gale of Darkness
I
and
have no
Coliseum
idea.
made by Game Freak? I really don't know.
I want to say no.
So that's certainly a cool way to go about it. Really excited about that. They really need to grow that library as quick as possible because there are so many great games on GameCube that, I mean, just put that shit in there. Come on.
Yeah.
One of the big announcements, maybe not in the most mainstream lines, but certainly a huge one. Deltarune Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4.
3 and 4?
Release date on the Switch 2 release date. I have not played any of Deltarune. I did beat Undertale years ago, but this will be a great opportunity for anyone to get into it full sale. I mean, I don't even remember when Deltarune Chapter 1 came out or whatever the prologue was, but now you get all 4 chapters. I mean,
honestly, having them in just one place, too?
Yeah, that's so cool. That's not a computer. Portable, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I mentioned this earlier, a return to form for RTS fans, Civ 7 with mouse on
That's
Switch
crazy.
2. So Civ 7 is already on the Switch. I couldn't imagine what that looks like and how that runs, to be totally honest.
Me neither.
But
mouse on console!
Yeah, mouse on console for RTS stuff. Like, that's so cool. Cyberpunk 2077. What timeline is this where Cyberpunk 2077, a game where you can define what your dick and balls look like, is on a Nintendo console and actually is probably gonna run well?
You can't you? I forgot
You can
about that.
define those things, oddly enough. That's just crazy. I will say,
I never thought that'd be on a Nintendo console.
I'm gonna need to see gameplay of that one because PS4,
You all remember the Cyberpunk fiasco.
they issued refunds on it. That doesn't happen really, so
I know
we'll see how it plays.
I know it kind of got the No Man's Sky treatment in the end there. But,
Everyone says it's good now.
But man, I'll believe it when I see it. But it's crazy that it's even happening.
And speaking of seeing is believing, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intrigade. Now, I've actually been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS5, like, for about a few weeks now. Man, what a great game. See that on Switch is interesting. So if you guys don't know, it came out on PS4 first, and then it got upgraded with DLC to PS5. So there's a chance this could look a little more in line with the PS4 version, which still obviously looks great. And listen, on a 1080p screen in the palm of your hand, I don't think you're going to tell the difference between that and 4K. But I'm excited for that. I'm curious on how they're going to go about the Rebirth, the sequel. But they did allude in the trailer that there might be some more news about some of the sequels to the original in the near future. So I think it's going to happen. I'm really surprised that that is going to be able to run on a console like this. I'll have to see it to believe it, but I'm optimistic. Sophia said it before, and we're there. Silksong mentioned, still with a continued 2025 release date. Now listen, I had never beat Hollow Knight, but I've heard the stories about how Silksong is the most waited on game ever, has the least information out ever. So seeing that and seeing like it's coming, seeing a box, you know, posted by Nintendo on Nintendo's Twitter.
I've also not played the game, though I do want to. I've been asking Adam to play it, Hollow Knight, on the channel, but he keeps saying it's a bad idea.
I think if I put that game in Sophia's hands, we'll see rage like we've never seen before, and I'm scared.
Isn't that a good thing? Comment below, like and subscribe.
Hollow Knight? Maybe. Then we got the not Bloodborne From Software console exclusive. I don't even remember the name. The Dusk Blood? Something like that, I think.
That's gotta be Bloodborne's spiritual sequel. It's got to be.
I mean, yeah, I don't know why they don't just make Bloodborne 2, but maybe that's what it
know.
is. I could not tell you.
It had more of a steampunk theme. So maybe they felt like it was too different of a direction, but it looks like Bloodborne, and what's crazy is that it's only coming out on the Switch.
Yeah, an exclusive. Now listen, I'm sure in a year or two after release, it'll be on other consoles, it'll be on PC.
Oh, yeah.
But that's, I mean, From Software literally saying, hey, like, we're gonna give you a console exclusive. That doesn't really happen super often. I mean, we saw it with Monster Hunter Rise for a while, but it's very promising. One thing that I never thought I was gonna see in a billion years, Kirby Air Riders, and people got tricked because they thought it was like, oh my god, Smash. Like, they thought it was Smash.
I didn't think about that. I thought it was Kirby Mario Kart first.
Well, I mean, in a way it is. She wasn't there back in the OG days.
I never had a GameCube, unfortunately.
Kirby Air Ride, great game. A notorious one-button racer. You use the A button and the stick.
Really?
That was pretty much it.
Man.
So I'm gonna be really interested in seeing how that's going to look on the Switch 2. But I'm excited, especially seeing Sakurai is going to be directing that. The cutscene direction alone is what made a lot of folks be like, is this Smash? Because it just looks so good. No gameplay, obviously, but knowing that that's going to come out, I think, this year, super exciting stuff. Need some gameplay, though.
Yep.
And the last announcement that was of substance to me and Sophia, what everyone thought was going to be the new 3D Mario game was actually a 3D Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Bonanza.
You can break the ground.
I mean, what can you say? It just looked great. It looked like Odyssey just to the next level with a new character. I love the new Donkey Kong design. I love the way the world looks. It really looks like a Rareware game. I mean, if you looked at that game in a different light and a different time, I could have told you, is this going to be a Banjo-Kazooie game? Now that, you know, good lord, one day maybe.
That's a different story.
But it just looks really good. Donkey Kong hasn't had a 3D platformer since Donkey Kong 64 on Nintendo 64 and I think 2000. So we're here 25 years later. Really cool, and all the mechanics look so cool. I mean, breaking the ground, I can't imagine stuff like that running on the Switch 1. Not to say that Odyssey didn't break barriers and still is an incredible game, but I mean, this just...
Next level.
This could be a lot of really cool things for the Donkey Kong franchise in the future, and maybe 3D platformers on the Switch. I mean, we could be seeing... I mean, we just got our first 3D Kirby game. Here's 3D Donkey Kong. You know, 3D Mario is going to be coming soon, but who knows what we'll see next? I don't know.
Yeah, but that was really one trailer where I looked at Adam and I was like, I have no notes.
No notes.
No
Look
notes.
Great. Look great.
Everything about it, loved it the whole time. Wow. That's going to be really cool to hear some more stuff about. Not enough to convince me to buy a Switch.
Yeah,
on
so
launch, me personally.
This brings me to the end
They'd
of
have
the video.
To throw out Animal Crossing, but
Is this going to be a day one purchase for me? I think it really depends on what I see in the upcoming months, and we'll talk about Sophia's perspective in the future. But I mean, when Switch 1 came out, you had Breath of the Wild, you had Mario Odyssey on the horizon, you had these really big games. I shouldn't say big games. Switch 1 also, I mean, it was portable.
yeah.
That wasn't
it was
really...
also an entirely new concept.
Yeah, it wasn't really done yet,
It
so
was
a lot of folks
console
grabbed it.
and portable.
And I didn't get Switch 1 on day one either. I think I got it like 3 months after it came out because I was able to wait for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I was also in college back then, so I didn't have quite as much time to play video games as I do now. Funny how adult life works. But, I mean, I just think that there's not enough. They needed one huge, groundbreaking flagship thing to come out day one, and I love Mario Kart World. I think it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome, but I don't...
It's not that. It's not that, like, I've never seen anything like this before. You know, Zelda was that for the Switch. It was that. So, not quite there, and like you said, it would take like a new Animal Crossing for you, right?
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, on a personal preference, like, maybe if I was a From Software fan, it'd be, like, time to do it, but I don't know, I just haven't seen anything yet that... Because, you know, I am an adult that makes my own money.
Yeah.
You are too.
I sure am.
And I don't want to buy something without knowing if it's going to stay good, if it's going to work. I don't want to put my money towards something that... It's gonna have Joy-Con drift, you know, like...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Don't want to go through that again.
Like, I would imagine Nintendo would have addressed things like that, like simple problems that the Switch had, but, you know, I just have to... I would need something that would make me absolutely need to play it day one. To push me past that, like, okay, well, do I know if the console's gonna be good? Like, I know the console's probably gonna be good, but, like... I want to see it for free.
Themes would have helped.
Yeah. If you released Animal Crossing day one, then that would have been my proof, and I would have bought the console.
You know what would have actually made me buy it? No additional games required. And this might be a stretch, I get it. But I'm just saying, if there were more games that they said were going to get the performance boost from Switch 1 to 2 without paying money, I would have gone for it. I would be thinking about it more than, like, if I saw every game on my shelf over here, if I was like, this is gonna get that boost, I would have been like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Like, that's gonna be awesome. But without that, and I know PS5 didn't do it with all their games, I'm not saying that it did. Without that...
It's just a little extra something.
Yeah, because, I mean, Switch 1 came out underpowered. And it came out notably underpowered. I think Switch 2 is coming out now. Switch 2 is not gonna be a PS5 in your hand, it's just not. And it's underpowered by comparison, but it's still keeping up with industry standards.
And
I mean,
portable.
people can always say PS4 looks great. I don't think anyone's going to say PS4 is ever going to be like, oh my god, this game's so ugly. Like, it looks great, and it's portable. And it can rock 120 FPS at 1080p. Like, that's great. So I would have expected a bigger boost to come from these games. That's just my thing. But in the comments, guys, tell us your thoughts. What did you think about the Switch 2 Direct? I mean,
Are you excited for the Treehouses this week? I am.
yeah, we got a Treehouse tomorrow, and on
Will
Fridays.
this video come out after tomorrow's treehouse?
Probably yes. I'd be
Well,
shocked if I got it done in
see.
time. We'll
Leave
see.
a comment if anything aged poorly that we said. God, I hope we get themes.
Yeah, bro.
Please,
We-
Nintendo, I want Street Pass. Please. Oh my gosh, where you're getting Tamagotchi life, give me Street Pass back, please.
Well, and by the way, if you like this format of video a lot and you want to see more of it, let us know in the comments. I actually like doing stuff like this and having future Adam do all the work later.
Oh no.
But regardless, until next time, I'm Adam.
I'm Sophia. Bye.
I need themes, Nintendo. I need themes.
Please.